Welcome, wrestling fans and trading card collectors. Welcome, once again, to Wrestling with Cards. I'm your host, Zhan Morning. Today we're going to talk about how to collect wrestling cards. Before we do that, let's take a look at what we got on the table. Pink Refractor 2018 Topps Chrome Ohtani. Hopefully that will pan out. One of the most iconic wrestling sets in the world. The 1982-83 Bill Watts Wrestling All-Stars card. I think there's a crease in it. Yeah, there's a crease in it. You can barely see. But guess what? It still rules. Over here, we got the green parallel Panini Status Trae Young. I actually really like that Status series. It's got a cool shine to it and a cool, 90s vibe background. But it's not really expensive. I don't remember how much I picked that up for, but it wasn't much. But regardless, today, I'm here to talk about how to collect wrestling cards. Just like other sports, there's many ways to collect the wrestling cards. In my opinion, it's kind of a melting pot as far as styles of how you collect between baseball, basketball, a little bit of football, but mainly baseball and basketball. I'll explain that. It'll make more sense to you as we're going along. First out, we're talking about the rookies, and we're going to kick this off with a baseball comparison. So, over here, we've got the Ohtani. See, we've got the RC logo. Everybody mostly knows that means rookie card for the Topps update. So many compare this one as his first rookie card. However, there are some people that will also pick up his Bowman first, or the first Bowman card that has RC on it. So there's multiple different levels of rookie cards, and it's kind of up for debate. Most people consider the Topps first series of Topps or Topps update the rookie card, but there's differing opinions on that. Same thing with wrestling. Let's go through a few real quick. So this is Steve Austin. This was a magazine card. As you can see, the perforated edges. This is from 1997. 1996, I believe, is his first appearance as Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, I couldn't find any 96 Steve Austin cards. So this could be considered his first card, because it's 1997's first appearance as that character. But it wasn't in a major release. It was released through the magazines, and a lot of people don't even consider those cards. So that's up for debate. But we're not done yet with 97. Here's another 97 Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was actually released in a trivia game. You can see it's not numbered, not anything. But many people consider this a rookie card. Again, this was released in a trivia-style board game cards with characters on them. There's a whole list of them. There's a complete set. But most people don't consider this a card. Then again, if you look up on Pop Reports, PSA, BGS, other graders, some of them consider this a card and they'll grade it. So is this the rookie card? But lastly, we've got 1995 Stunning Steve Austin. Most people consider that his official rookie card because it was the first card that was released in a set. You know, you could get the cards in packs at the stores. You could buy the boxes and rip packs. Most of the time, that's what people consider the rookie card. So even though this isn't Stone Cold Steve Austin, most consider this his official rookie card because it's his first appearance in a major release. There's also, though, so this is WCW. The other two I showed you were WWF. There are, I believe, a 1990 Steve Austin release and a 1993 magazine release. The 90 release I don't have, but I'm hoping to own one day. It is also from a card game, similar to the Steve Austin I showed you. And then the 1993 one is also a magazine release similar to this. So there's 5 different examples I've showed you of what people are considering a rookie card. I guess ultimately, until the community comes together on something, it's kind of up for debate. But in my opinion, I like to look at the cards I've showed you down here as kind of first cards. Like the 2 I showed you are from 97, so that's his first appearance. I would consider both of those like first cards. So to me, those would be like the first Bowman cards in baseball. This would be considered like the Ohtani, the official release that you could get in packs with the rookie card on it. Another example of that would be The Rock. If you don't know wrestling, you still know The Rock from movies. This was another magazine release. Pretty cool card, 1997. Once again, I think 97 was his first appearance as the character, some consider this one of his first cards. Also not true. Similar to the Steve Austin, there's one of these of Rocky Maivia before he was The Rock. That is actually considered, I believe, his first card. This is the next year after. Actually, this is the same year. They're both 97, so just like the Steve Austins I showed you, this and that Rock card out of that trivia set. But then this one is most notably as his first rookie card. I think it's the best looking one. It's a basic design and just kind of puts his coolness in the forefront. This was released in the 1998 set, though, so he had already been a character for a while. I believe this was put out by Comic Images. Yeah, right there. And this set's actually pretty cool, but most consider this the Rock's rookie card, even though he has first appearance cards. So that's why I was talking about baseball with the comparisons between like the Bowman sets, Bowman rookie card, and then the Topps rookie cards. It's kind of all over the place until the community or, grading companies or somebody comes together on this. We're going to have these, but all the cards I've showed you today all have value because they're all superstars, and first appearance cards always do really well. Another thing to look at is player collecting. So just like other sports, you can collect players. Maybe, we've got this Trae Young, so if you're a Trae Young collector, cool. But maybe you want to be a Bill Watts collector. I don't know many Bill Watts cards out there, but it's just like anything else. You can track down who did you like as a kid? Who do you currently enjoy watching wrestling? Maybe you really like the modern product. Maybe you're a big Aleister Black fan or Matt Hardy. Maybe you want to track down the TNA cards of him across all the federations and all the sets. Just like other sports, you can find whatever wrestler you like the most and just start collecting all their cards. There's tons of stuff out there of anybody you like. There's also even wrestling cards involving celebrities. Next up is set collecting. So this one is a big set collecting fan. This is the 86-87 basketball Fleer comparison of wrestling cards. It's the Wrestling All-Star set. But there's other good ones too. Through the 80s, Topps put out sets I showed you in a couple videos before during the 80s boom of wrestling. That's a really popular set and a cool design, very over the top. But there's also some cool stuff from the early 90s, WCW, mid-90s, WWE, and even modern stuff. There's Topps, I believe, has one of the exclusive rights to WWE currently. And they put out a really good product. I just don't know of as many people collecting it because I don't know as many people watching. I know there's a lot watching AEW, and hopefully they'll put out some trading cards soon. That'd be fun. But, find some certain sets that you liked as a kid or that you can afford now. Maybe there's sets that you like the design of. Maybe you want to collect sets based on the federation. So let's say you were a huge fan of WCW during the Attitude Era, so that would be like 97 to 99. Well, there's a few sets out there of WCW cards that you can go track down for not a lot of money, and they're really decent. They're really good quality in my opinion, and they're a lot cheaper than some of the modern stuff like this or this. Like the price of one of these, or even this, if this was graded, these 3 cards each, you could probably own a set of wrestling cards for the current price. I don't know what they'll be tomorrow or next year, especially if enough people get into this side of the hobby with wrestling cards. But currently, you could get a set of like 1990 classic WWE or 1995 WCW main event cards. You could get a whole set for about the price you could buy just this Trae Young card. So that's another option for people looking to get into it. And another thing about the set collecting is maybe you're just a huge wrestling fan. You don't necessarily have a favorite, but you just loved all the characters, all the gimmicks, all the memories, everything that reminds you of wrestling. So that's another reason to just focus on a set, because you'll have all of the characters in that set complete, and then you can just continue to flip through those cards, go back and enjoy wrestling and enjoy the hobby. Collecting the era you grew up in. A lot of people I know are into the vintage stuff because they grew up in the 70s, early 80s, so the Wrestling All-Stars is the ultimate set for them. Other people, like I pulled up earlier, maybe it's the mid-90s. WCW in the mid-90s was really popular with a lot of people I know. It wasn't the greatest product, but it was still really popular. Or maybe you're into Attitude Era, late 90s into early 2000s. Maybe you're into Ruthless Aggression, early 2000s era, or modern era. It doesn't matter if you're, 5 years old watching this video and you collect cards, or you're 55 years old and you grew up in the 70s watching classic vintage wrestling. It doesn't matter. There's cards out there for anybody that wants to collect. Speaking of other things you can collect, similar to those things, just like other sports, there's autos, there's relics, there's numbered cards. And one example I've got to show you that I think I've shown this on a previous video, but this kind of combines all three, is this Alondra Blaze from Topps. As you can see, it's a sticker auto, but they do have on-card autos. So here's an autograph. This is a relic, which I don't know that I can get it on the camera, but it's actually pieces of metal raised up in there. And it's a belt design for the Cruiserweight title, which isn't accurate. This is the WWE Cruiserweight belt, and she actually won the WCW Cruiserweight belt. I don't know why they didn't just use the rights. They own everything. But whatever, it's still a cool card. And then, as you can see back here, numbered to 99. So this is from the 2017 Topps set. So this is a little bit more modern, but it's a classic star. So that's why I have this. But they make several sets with these belts. So maybe you were really into belts and you want to belt collect, but maybe you don't want to buy the actual replica $500 belts and you don't have the space in your apartment or house or wherever to keep it. Well, here's an option. You can seek out these belt cards and collect the whole set, and it'll have a champion. Sometimes they have autos, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I believe they may even have patches on it. And a lot of times they're numbered, sometimes they're not. But that's just another option to collect, is maybe you really like these belts and you want to collect them. Maybe you want to combine all of this that I've talked about today, the belt collecting, the autos, numbered cards, rookie cards, vintage cards. Maybe you want to combine all of that. There's just so many ways to collect wrestling cards, and I don't know, a lot of people aren't as big of wrestling fans as basketball or baseball, but I think if they give it a chance and they kind of just let down their guard, because I know it's not cool to like wrestling, but I could guarantee you almost anybody that's a sports fan watched wrestling as a kid. I think it's just another option of getting into the hobby and another alternative investment. Speaking of alternative investments, from an investment standpoint, there are definitely options on the table for wrestling. That's going to be a whole nother video for another time. Simply put, though, buy the cards that are undervalued, that you predict will gain value in time. These have already picked up in value, but they're going to only go up because the Wrestling All-Star cards was the first actual set that you could order. And we'll talk about that whole set in another several-part video. I will be reviewing card sets and breaking down these further, going over the wrestlers and just little details about the card sets. But from an investment standpoint, again, buy what you like, but also buy what you think will go up in the future. I'll make a separate video, as I've said. But for right now, I will say that wrestling does have a foothold in the investment realm. It's just kind of in its infancy, I think. I mean, wrestling cards, they've been around since the 1800s. But as far as popularity, they really haven't been around since the early 80s. The All-Star set is pretty much the first set that, no pun intended, set it off for wrestling cards, and it just picked up from there. If you're watching this video, I'm guessing you're either a collector or an investor, and either way you're trying to learn more about wrestling cards. So hopefully the stuff I've told you today will enlighten you a little bit on how to collect, and hopefully you'll go out there and start collecting more. Go buy more. Have fun. What interests you in collecting wrestling cards? Why do you collect? And how do you collect? Do you like autos? Do you just do vintage? Let me know in the comments what you like, and again, just any wrestling memories that I can conjure up from you from talking about these videos. Leave it in the comments. Also, while you're down there, check out the links to all my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's all down there. I appreciate the support, appreciate the following. Until next time, see ya, wrestling fans.